What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we're going to be taking a look at a very interesting deck, a Mardu Mirror March Giants deck. And this deck is absolutely stomping, and I forgot to name it. So what? So sue me. So I've tried this deck out quite a few times, and it seems to be absolutely destroying people. But the only problem, right? I have 4 copies of Mirror March. I seem to just not be able to get the combo down. Like, Mirror March is just the hardest card to play and actually get to proc. Even when you get it down, you flip it and you're like, okay, well, no, okay, lost that coin toss. Oh, no, lost that coin toss. But in theory, this deck is so fun, it's so interesting, it's so very awesome. So we're going to see if today we can't get this combo to go off with the Mirror March plus playing these big giants. And I know Haktos isn't a giant, but everything else here is a giant. So before we go and hop into this deck tech or deck breakdown, I would like to remind everybody, if you enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like down below, comment in the comment section if you have any suggestions on this video, future videos, or past videos. And furthermore, if you're new here, consider subscribing. It's free. It's a great way to support the channel. And if you click on that little bell icon, it'll give you a notification every time I go live or post a video, which is generally daily for both of the two, at least here recently, right? So on into what we're actually playing. It's a Mirror March Giants deck. I know I should probably name it, but that's okay. So we have 4 copies of Kroxa, we have 4 copies of Bone Crusher. We do have some non-giant cards, as I've mentioned. Murderous Rider and not Tectonic, Haktos are probably some of our only ones. We do only have 1 copy of Haktos and 3 copies of Murderous Rider, so not too many. Moving us down, we have 2 copies of Tectonic Giant, another giant that I think is a little underplayed, but honestly it's a little slow considering what it does as well. So I can see why it's not really played in the meta, but as far as this deck goes, it really rocks its shit. Down here further on, we have 2 Swathcutter Giants, which of course is fun with Mirror March. If you can get down a whole bunch of Swathcutter Giants, you have these big 5/5s that are swinging in and potentially board wiping your opponent's creatures, which is just funny to see, right? We have 1 copy of Realm Cloak Giant. Now, I only have 1 copy of Realm Cloak Giant, otherwise I'll be playing like 4 of these because they're fantastic in any giant deck, right? But it is also a mythic rare, so if you don't have it, I understand completely. And then last but not least, we have Lotleth Giant, which is going to allow us to deal damage based on the number of creatures we have in our graveyard, which combined with the Mirror March could literally be lethal in such an easy turn, right? Now, of course, that's going to be a lot of mana. Getting down to 6 mana enchantment and then getting down to 7 mana creature is going to be a bit later into the game. But, you know, we're kind of aiming for that late game with this Mardu Giants deck anyways. To complement the rest of our cards, we do have 2 copies of Angrath's Rampage to help us deal with the planeswalkers, creatures, artifacts, that kind of stuff that our opponent may play against us. Murderous Rider, as I've already mentioned, a great source of removal for both planeswalkers and creatures. Bedevil, great source of removal for planeswalkers, creatures, and artifacts. So you'll see we have a bit of a diverse pool of removal here. We have 2 copies of Deafening Clarion to hopefully remove those mono red decks and all that. As Elspeth Conquers Death doesn't really hit those mono red decks so well. Of course, this can hit Annex, but if your opponent's playing a Cavalcade kind of mono red, it's going to be a bit harder to hit. Blood for Bones is going to allow us to sacrifice creatures as well as get a creature back to the board and then 1 into our hand. You'll see this comes in real handy with Kroxa. Getting the Kroxa back into our hand and being able to play a 2-mana giant back down and have that effect reproc, make our opponent discard once again, is fantastic. And of course, whatever we sacrificed out with Blood for Bones, we can always put it back onto the battlefield just with this card itself. So you're not really losing anything, and you're gaining a card back into hand and potentially putting something you want of more value onto the battlefield. 2 copies of Eat to Extinction for some more targeted removal against creatures and planeswalkers. Of course, that's great. Elspeth Conquers Death is going to be able to exile target permanents with a converted mana cost of 3 or greater, as well as be able to return target creature or planeswalkers from our graveyard to the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Now, we aren't playing any planeswalkers, so this will only be doing creatures. Bond of Revival kind of acts like a Blood for Bones, except instead of getting something back into our hand, we're going to be returning a creature to the battlefield with haste, and we don't have to sacrifice anything, so it could legitimately save you / win you the game, right? 4 copies of Mirror March, because again, this is what we're all about. We're trying to play these giants down, copy them a hell of a lot of times, and then swing in with these massive creatures that just sort of deal these quirky and fun abilities, right? And then for the rest of the deck, we've already talked about it because they're all giants: Swathcutter, Realm Cloak, and Lotleth. So that's going to pretty much do it for this deck tech or deck breakdown. And now we're going to go and hop right into our matches. Jararin, I think that's right, going to be our next foe for the day, and we'll hope that they stick around, unlike our last opponent who just sort of dipped out on us. Sure, it's a little costly up here towards the end, but I'm not going to look at my giants and say, no, I don't want you, right? Those are our bread and butter. The whole reason we're here today. So we're probably going to lead off with the Temple of Malice and then shock in the Sacred Foundry to get down the Kroxa. Or potentially just keep up mana for the Bonecrusher Giant. See a land, I keep a land. That's my rule for this deck. You know, unless you're at like 20 lands or something. In which case you got bigger problems. Like, why are you playing so long in a single game? And how? Or I guess your opponent could be milling you, and that could be the problem, right? It's always a problem. Now, we don't want them to just get absolutely out of control with life gain, so Bonecrushering that Healer's Hawk may be exactly what we want to do, but either which way, we're going to wait until their turn to make for sure that that's what we want to do, because if they play something like a Pridemate, it might be a little bit better to just take out the Pridemate. No, it's going to be a Dovin Hand of Control. This is the one that makes it where, yeah, you prevent all the damage that would be dealt. It's a crazy one, honestly. It's one that I feel like may deserve a little bit more play, but whatever. Drawing out another Fabled Passage, not exactly the land we want to see, but at least it's our choice of land, right? So we're actually fine on the white mana for the Realm Cloak, but for some reason my brain was like, oh, make sure you get the white mana for the Realm Cloak. That's alright. We'll go ahead and throw down our Kroxa, hopefully disrupt our opponent's hand just a little bit, deal a little bit of damage. Nope, just gonna make them get rid of Silver Flame Ritual. What kind of weird deck are you playing, Jarian? You weird name person. I'm sure it's a reference to something almost, I was gonna say never, but almost never is there a name that comes up and then somebody in the comments doesn't know what it's related to. You know what I mean? Alright, so we will go ahead and get down our first giant, our Bonecrusher Giant. Our Bone Daddy. Now, of course, we could Bedevil to kill Dovin or the Wanderer or things of that nature. They're going to exile it with the Wanderer? Yeah, not too shabby. Exiling makes it even more difficult for us, really. But that gives us our 5 mana, which means we have the Elspeth Conquers Death. That'll be our 6 mana for the bigger giants and things of that nature. So, prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and other permanents you control. But Bonecrusher can't be prevented. So, we will Bonecrusher that Wanderer. We'll deal that 1 damage to where the Wanderer cannot exile any more of our creatures. Hopefully they don't have any proliferate, right? Don't want to say can't for sure, but at least for the time being, can't. Play this down. Now we have the 6 mana, so we really turn online all the rest of our stuff. But I think I want to go for another Bonecrusher, just in case they have another source of removal or things along that lines, right? We want to send it out on the Bonecrusher, on the small thing. Now we can, of course, Elspeth Conquers Death to get rid of the Dovin. Or now we get Elspeth Conquers Death to get rid of the Conclave Tribunal, right? However, what are we going to be bringing back from your graveyard? We don't have any creatures in our graveyard. We have a Kroxa, but that's not exactly the creature in our graveyard that we want, right? So I'll say we just play down our Swathcutter Giant and we wait on the Elspeth Conquers Death and all that stuff. We wait to see what happens, basically. They get down an Ardenvel Tactician, okay. And trapped in the tower, can't attack or block. 2 mana. Takes out our Swathcutter just immediately. Now we could Blood for Bones on our Swathcutter and bring it back to the battlefield. But I don't know how much of a fan of that I am right now. Let's go for... Let's go for the Elspeth Conquers Death. We will exile their Conclave Tribunal and get our Bonecrusher Giant back. Enter that tapped and call it a turn. Now, we can also Bedevil, well, I'm not quite sure what our opponent's deck is, like, meant to do, actually, you know? I'm sure it's controlling, but it's not really dealing that much damage. Like, I'm not fearful of my life. There's a Haktos, but I really like to wait on the Haktos, if you know what I mean. So we could Bedevil and get rid of that trapped in the tower, take our Swathcutter and kill their Dovin. No? Oh, it's an enchantment. Ah, I can't. Could Blood for Bones, of course. That is always an answer. Or I could just go Haktos, but Haktos doesn't have haste or anything. I'll tell you what, we'll go for the Haktos. 4 mana. So Conclaves can hit him. The Wanderer would have been able to. Can't anymore, thankfully. Problem is they have all exile, so it's like hard for our creatures to go to the graveyard, which is really what I'm waiting for the Blood for Bones and things of that nature. I'm not too worried about the Ardendale Tactician by itself, which is why I'm not playing the Realmcloak Giant out quite yet. And then Bedevil, well, I just don't think it's worth taking out their Dovin with a Bedevil. Alright, so Elspeth is going to get back our Kroxa, which isn't going to do a whole lot because Kroxa is just going to go back to the graveyard, but it will make them discard one of these 1 of 2 cards that they have left in hand. So we get rid of Angel of Vitality, and then we could, of course, play the Kroxa back, couldn't we? No, we don't have quite enough cards. We're still at 4. That's a bit disheartening, I'm not going to lie. Alright, well, let's go ahead and go next. We'll take our Haktos and swing at the Wanderer, because then we can use our Bone Crusher to do stuff, right? They're going to create a 1/1 token. I don't think I can Bone Crusher it, can I? Prevent all non-combat damage, that would be... Oh yeah, I can, because Bone Crusher... Right. So we don't go next to blockers, we just immediately Bone Crusher that shit. Then we go next to damage, take that Wanderer out. So now we can start dealing non-combat damage. How fantastic is that? It's super fantastic. Thank goodness you asked. Alright, so our opponent is basically down to top decking, which is kind of nice. Conclave Tribunal on the Haktos. No Bone Crusher? Are you crazy? You're insane, man. You're insane. Alright, I think it's time we get rid of that Ardendale Tactician, because let's be real, it's getting kind of annoying. So let's figure out how we can do that. Well, we can Realmcloak Giant, right? We can just pay for that. Don't have any cards to counter it. Of course, they can still make the 1/1, but I don't think the 1/1 can block against Haktos. Not sure though. Don't quote me on that. All right, let's just see. Let's see if the 1/1 can block the Haktos. Oh well, I guess they can't make it anyway. So take out that. We can Bedevil to Ardenville. I just don't know if it's worth it. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait some more. I think I will do this though. Sacrifice Swathcutter, return Swathcutter, and get Kroxa back in my hand. And of course we can just replay Kroxa. Deal 3 damage. They don't have to discard, but it is free damage, so why not? Healer's Hawk. Alright. Now I can Realmcloak and not feel guilty. Right? Of course our Swathcutter is going to kill the Healer's Hawk immediately anyways. Oh, you know what I just realized? Haktos has protection, doesn't have indestructible. That's alright, I just wipe my own Haktos for no reason. Whoops. It's a bit of a mistake. Resolve next to blockers. Alright, so Swathcutter is going to be having to deal with these little tiny annoying 1/1s, but we can get the Kroxa down, so I guess that's alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Submit. I'm surprised we haven't seen a Mirror March yet, honestly. Thank goodness we're playing these giant-ass creatures who just deal tons of damage, right? Otherwise I'd be a little bit worried. Bond of Revival. Cool. Alright, well, let's get down to our Realm Cloak Giant, our big 7/7 with Vigilance. I guess we're just not getting Mirror March this game, which would have been a fantastic game to get it, honestly. Could you imagine all these giants entering the battlefield and having, you know, machine gun effects? Not saying they would, of course, because y'all know how Mirror March can be. Of course, we've all seen it. But it's a nice thought to think. So they'll use their 1/1 and block the Kroxa and continue taking the damage. Now, the only thing we really have to worry about is a time wipe, but even if we get time wipe, we still have Bond of Revival to, you know, bada bing, bada boom, bring things back. Alright, so we'll end this game rather easily, honestly. We're gonna graveyard it. It wasn't a Mirror March. In the end, it didn't even matter. We could also Bond of Revival on that giant there to bring it back and to help us finish this game. But again, we don't really need it, right? So Mardu Mirror March Giants. Didn't even need the Mirror March, but it would have been nice in a game like this where we had the opportunity to get down so many giants. Kind of got a bit flooded though, really, if you look over here. Had a lot of lands. That's okay though, I'll certainly take a victory. Konichiwa is going to be our next foe for the day. Or Konichiwa. Connie? Probably Connie, am I right? Alright, so we can grab some white mana with Fabled Passage turn 1, turn 2, Temple of Malice, turn 3, Mountain, and then potentially have Bedevil / Deafening Clarion stuff. Although, yeah, never mind, we would need a swamp for that. Maybe we just botch this start. But if it plays out well, we'll have 2 Elspeth Conqueror's Death, which is absolutely fantastic. Oh no, our opponent's playing more than likely a mono-red style variant deck. There's more black mana though for the Bedevil, so I am going to go ahead and grab white mana here for the Deafening Clarion. And then we'll go Temple of Malice, Mountain, Deafening. Yep, mono-red. Alrighty, well, this is going to be super unfortunate for us, but we're about to take several points of damage for several turns, or rather just one turn, but it's still going to be several points of damage, okay? It's still something I don't want to see. That's going to put us up to 5 mana, which is an Elspeth Conqueror's Death, which is fantastic for us. Grim Initiate means that they will have, oh no, they're going to have 2 creatures left over after this massacre that's about to occur. I feel like we just had way too many Kurds there, but that's okay. Alright, so Deafening to wipe the board basically, and then they'll get, or not 2 1/1s, I'm sorry, they'll get a 2/2 back. Right, because they'll amass twice, right? That's how amass works. Doesn't actually give you multiple creatures like everyone thought it would. Nope, it gives you 1 rather big creature. Thankfully it can't proc the Cavalcade, but it does the same amount of damage as if it was to or not, right? So I guess it doesn't matter in the end. Now I kind of want to shock in the Blood Crypt so that way I can actually kill their creature, but it is going to be dealing 2 damage to us either which way, so I guess it's fine if we're playing our stuff, right? I don't know. Of course, playing the Murderous Rider is going to be another 2 health to us, so we don't want to pass to attackers. We'd actually go ahead and rather destroy this with Murderous Rider. Then we'll get our Murderous Rider down and hopefully start gaining some life with it. So yeah, this is for sure happening here. And then again, we're looking for our Mirror Marches so we can actually start, you know, doing what the deck's supposed to be doing and be explosive with our giants, right? That's the whole point. Now they may have a shock here to kill our Murderous Rider, at which point I'm not too interested in blocking that Grim Initiate. They may have an Infuriate as well, which is going to be just as well as bad for us. They did have a shock. They still shocked our creature. Why? I, you know, couldn't tell you for the life of me. But we will swing in with the Murderous Rider. We'll get in 2 damage, gain 2 health. I'm thinking about bedeviling that, but we also can't Elspeth Conquers Death or Cavalcade, so that's unfortunate. I think it is best to... Well, Bedevil is still going to give them a creature right back, so let's just get down Tectonic Giant then. And we'll throw this down tapped. Chiwa has seen enough. They said, you know what? You've got a bit too much mana. Actually, I don't know. I'm not quite sure why they conceded there. Alrighty. Here is our like 4th or 5th opponent for the day, honestly. We've played so many matches where people were just like, no, I'm good, and they just dipped out. Oh, I see 2 Mirror Marches in hand. Don't get me wrong, I want to keep this hand so bad, but the amount of lands in it is just almost disgusting, so we'll have to mulligan. I will keep this, and I think we'll bottom the Tectonic Giant. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun card. I really do enjoy playing it, but as far as everything else is concerned, I think it's not in our top concerns. I think I'll go ahead and get white mana here, because we already have double black there. I don't know if we need double red. Of course, Embercleave would be a nice card in this deck if you wanted to play something a bit more serious and something a bit more... how do I say this? Accurate, I guess, right? Not so shoddy with the Mirror March, but you know, to each their own. This is the kind of stuff I enjoy playing. Whether you enjoy it or not, that's sort of up to you. I'm gonna just play down another Temple of Malice and get this Bone Crusher on their Hateful Eidolon come their turn, but we are gonna wait for their turn. Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Okay, well, yep, we'll go ahead and kill this Hateful Eidolon. And they'll get down the Aerialist, and then I will Murderous Rider that Aerialist. So that's what we do here. We murder things. Bam. Now, they may have something like a Kai's Ghost for him. I'm kind of interested to see if that's the case. No Underworld Dreams. Alright, let's get rid of this Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Now, Underworld Dreams is going to be costing us health literally constantly. Literally constantly. I want to get down the... Tell you what, I'm going to shock this in. I'm going to get this down and get down the Kroxa. So I'm going to plan, stand. Let's make them discard some, shall we? They're down to low enough cards in hand where I feel like if we make them discard, it might hurt them a little bit, you know? It might hurt their feelings, and that's what I'm trying to do here, is hurt people's feelings. Inevitable end, so we'll have to sacrifice our Murderous Rider here. Which is really unfortunate, because I really like the Murderous Rider. That's okay. Haktos? Oh boy. Well, you can come on down, Haktos. Come on down, you have a great, grandy time. 3 mana, that's like a murder. Nightmare Shepherd. Nightmare Shepherd can't block it, so I'm okay with that, I suppose. Resolve, we're just hemorrhaging this health. Boom, boom, boom. That's alright. We'll get down to Elspeth Conquers Death and exile that Nightmare Shepherd. Bada bing, bada boom. This is your doom. Alright, then we'll get into 6 damage with Haktos. And again, it doesn't even seem like we need the Mirror March. If anything, it feels like an Embercleave would be better in the deck, but I want a Mirror March, damn it. I'm trying to play for the funds. For the funsies. That's okay, we'll keep drawing this lame stuff. Non-creature spells our opponent cast cost 2 more mana to cast. Isn't that fantastic? I think we do go ahead and eat to extinction this Rampage so they don't have anything blocking our Haktos from just wrecking face. We'll do it at instant speed as well, so that way we can, of course, swing in. They will sacrifice itself to deal 1 extra, which, interestingly enough, gives them an extra turn. Well, never mind, because we can get the Kroxa back. We're going to get the Kroxa back, actually, with the Elspeth, I think, because we only have the Kroxa in our graveyard. Yeah, so that'll be all she wrote here. Ooh, Grey Merchant, going to be healing them and dealing a bit of damage to us. And then the Underworld Dreams just doing its stuff left and right and left and right. So this will deal 3 damage to our opponent. Now, Haktos actually can't be blocked by either of their creatures. Right? So, we swing in with Haktos. They're down to 4 health. We can Realm Cloak Giant and kill all their creatures. but it's not going to be enough. You know what I mean? It's not going to be enough to not die, because it'll also kill our Haktos. We could Blood for Bones and get the Kroxa back onto the board, and that would deal 3 extra damage, but again, not enough to kill our opponent. I think we end our turn, and let's see what they got. to Extinction on the Gray Merchant. And a Murderous Rider. I don't know if that's good or bad. We're going to graveyard it, though. They get in 1 damage. They're up to 5. What card do they have in hand? Is it going to be enough? I'm literally terrified. And there's our Mirror March. Like, on the last turn of the game. Alright, Haktos. Oh, yes. Oh, baby. That feels so good. Soul Dyer. They dye colors, the dye things the color of souls or what? I'm not quite sure on what exactly is being, like, are souls dying, or are they dying, like changing the color of the souls? Or are they changing things to the color of a soul? Not quite sure what that color would be, but whatever. We'll grab this swamp out so that way we can have the Godless Shrine, Murderous Rider, wombos of combos. We'll move our hand around a little bit, of course. We could have played the mountain there actually and had mana for the Bone Crusher Giant at instant speed, which could have killed this Sorin, because Lord knows they're about to -3 it. No, they +1 it. What? You're crazy. You're crazy. Now we are going to go ahead and Murderous Rider the Sorin so they don't get to -3 and just get a vampire down for free. Am I right? Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Now, does that get Angrath Rampaged? I think so. We're really looking for more lands, so as long as we can keep their creature count low while looking for our own lands, I think we'll be a-okay, right? Bond of Flourishing, a card I really enjoy myself. I don't know how much other people enjoy it, but when it comes to me personally, I'm like, yes, please sign me up. Alright, so we get Bone Crusher Giant plus have mana for Bone Crusher Giant if we want to. We'll enter it tapped, and then I am going to Bone Crusher Giant that Vampire of the Dire Moon, but we're going to wait for their turn to do all that shenanigans. So they're playing like a Golgari life gain deck for their stuff. I kind of like it. It's kind of interesting. Alrighty, so we probably should have shocked that, what's it called in. Let's go ahead and remove this Knight of the Ebon Legion. Stomp it out. Sure, we could have done it on the next turn. Yes, they're going to get 1 damage with the Vampire of the Dire Moon and get to heal 1 life. It's okay, everybody. It's okay. Temple of Malice. Sure, we'll keep that on top. Again, let's just keep their creature count low. We're looking for our cards to play, right? The Mirror Marches, the bigger giants, which we have the Bone Crushers here, but let's wait. Let's wait and see. Murderous Rider, and they're actually just gonna play it to the field. Let's just do this. It should be the end of their turn. Indeed it is. Temple of Malice. Can I get a Mirror March? Bone Crusher. Well, I'm not gonna say no to a Bone Crusher. It's just not in my nature. We do have Eat to Extinction to take that card out if we want to. Which, yeah, probably. Of course, we have all these cards over here we could also be playing, but yeah, I want the Mirror March. Eat to Extinction, actually gonna be going at that Garrick. Question is, do we Murderous Rider? Well, let's resolve. Let's go ahead and take the Garrett out first and foremost. Garruk. Whatever your name is, sir. Auto pay. We can take it out of full control now and resolve. I just like going into full control so I don't miss my turn there. And we will keep the Bonecrusher Giant because this is going to be an easy source of removal for one of these two wolves, right? So, 2 damage here. We still have a Murderous Rider, but honestly, kind of want to get some defenses down. So I'm going to get down my own Murderous Rider for defending against the 2/2 Wolf, or defending against their Murderous Rider, either which way. Now our opponent's going to use their Castle Locklane to start drawing cards. That is probably one of the nicest benefits to Golgari, is being able to Castle Locklane and do that. Why they would swing in with the Wolf there, I'm not quite sure. It's kind of like they just hit all attack and was like, well, fuck it. Whatever the button says, just do it. Super unfortunate our Haktos got that, so gonna have to swing into that Murderous Rider come next turn. Thankfully we don't have to defend against it though. But it also means that Haktos can be murdered by murders or by other Murderous Riders, and there's the card. Well, unfortunate as it may be, we can Blood for Bones on our Murderous Rider, get that Haktos back into our hand, and then, or actually rather just back into the battlefield, and then go from there, right? Alright, so yeah, this, and then we can actually still Murderous Rider ourselves as well. So we're going to Murderous Rider, we're going to boop the Haktos back onto there, and that Murderous Rider tucked itself back into the deck, so we still have this Murderous Rider, of course, to do its stuff. And unfortunately our Haktos hit 3 again. Oh, that's kind of lame. Alright, well, let's get down to Bonecrusher Giant, so that way we can have some defense against these Murderous Riders. But yeah, it's really not good that our Haktos hit 3, because it just means that as long as they keep one Murderous Rider back, they should be perfectly fine to kill the Haktos just for the free trade ski. Another Castle Locklane, so they can be drawing hella cards now if they want. It's going to cost a lot of mana, but getting through your deck is honestly probably worth it. So yeah, Haktos has to attack. We can destroy one of the Murderous Riders. I guess that's fine. One of them will block Haktos, one of them will die. 4 damage will go from Bonecrusher to their face. Lotleth probably isn't getting played, but we can throw down a Bonecrusher Giant. And yeah, unfortunately this Haktos is going to be going back to the graveyard, but it will add up for our Lotleth, so there's that. We'll be taking them down to 22 health because they will gain the 2 of life off the Murderers. Alrighty, now if I can find my Mirror March, we might actually be able to, you know, do something with this game. I feel like I've said that every game this morning, but that's alright. Mirror March is one of those cards like you don't see often, and when you do see it, it's kind of hard to get it down, and even when you do get it down, it doesn't do everything you thought it would in the first place. So it's, you know, it is what it is. We're going to get down a Kroxa though, make our opponent discard one of their only 2 cards in hand. We'll hope it's something that they really wanted, right? Oh, they're going to Castle Locklane so they don't have to discard one of those 2 cards that they do want. If they do want it, what do you think it could be? You know, what is the Assassin's Trophy? They discarded an Assassin's Trophy. Now I could get back a Kroxa, but it would cause me to exile some cards from the graveyard. I think I'd rather utilize these cards over here that I have first and foremost. So let's get down the Bonecrusher Giant first, as it does deal more damage. Lotleth can deal 4, so if we get down a Mirror March and then a Lotleth, you know, that might be a decent little chunk. Now Lotleth deals 5, which again, if we could get down Mirror March and hit it for 3, which would be extremely lucky, we could just kill them with our Lotleth. Not gonna lie, would be a rather funny and nice sight to see. Either which way, we're gonna go ahead and get down Tectonic Giant here. We could exile the top 2 cards of our library and choose one of them until the end of our next turn. We can play it. This is whenever we attack or it becomes the target of a spell. I thought it was whenever it enters the battlefield, but it's not. It's whenever it becomes the target of a spell. So that's alright. At least means if they go to remove it targeted wise, it should be A to the OK. They are. They're going to be Murderous Ridering it. So we can either deal 3 damage, which will take them down to 11, which means our Lotleth would only need to hit once, you know, on a Mirror March. But I am going to exile to instead look for a Mirror March. Kroxa. Well, I guess we'll pick that one to the side because we don't really need the land. I do, however, want the damage and the discard for our opponent. So there's another Murderous Rider for our foe, and a Vampire of the Dire Moon as well. And they should play it. Unless they plan on Castle Lochthwaning again. Casualties of War. Okay. Well, we still have 6 mana in case we do hit a Mirror March. We don't have 7 mana for the Lotleth anymore. Fabled Passage, and no thank you. I'm on a goal here. I'm on a timer. Not on a timer, but I am on a goal. Okay. So we'll go ahead and play down this Kroxa, as it is the one that's gonna be exiled in the mana that we don't really want come next turn. Now they can of course gain up just 3 life here. Oh, Bloodthirsty Airless. This is unfortunate. It's exactly what we did not want to happen. But we stayed in the game for a long time with a deck that has life gain, and we still haven't drawn our a single Mirror March, actually. Oh, okay. Right. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Is that how it works? I assume so. So we're going to want to avoid all of our creatures with this 5 exile pick. Yeah, there we go. That way our Lotleth Giant has the max amount available to Mirror March with. Now, of course, they're going to gain more life come their turn, but the Kroxa is going to deal more damage right here, so, you know, I don't really know. They're down to 9, they gain 3 life on their turn. We lose a lot of life on their turn thanks to the Bloodthirsty Airless, but if we can Mirror March into a Lotleth, it might be worth it. I don't think we have the mana for that, though, right? We don't have the mana the mana/health to live for 2 turns. See, this is the problem with Mirror March. You go halfway through your deck just to find 1. I think MTG Arena just doesn't like Mirror March. I feel like it has the lowest probability odds, like, tweaked, you know? No. Nobody's gonna play that shit. But I'll bet in Paper Magic, Mirror March probably goes off more. I've never seen a card less playable. Does that make sense? For having 4 copies in your deck, never seen a card less playable. Which is like crazy, right? It's like, holy cow. Alrighty. Well, we can actually maybe finish them off with the Lotleth, depending on if Kroxa deals the 3 damage here or not, right? Nope, doesn't deal the 3 damage. It's awkward. Wee bit awkward. Alright, come on down, Lotleth. Good game. I suppose it was a good game. Literally, if we had drawn Mirror March at any point before, and it could actually proc on the Lotleth. But that's kind of what Mirror March always feels like, right? If only, if 1 or 2, if and buts were candies and nuts and all that wonderful bullshit. But unfortunately, it's not. It is what it is. So we'll take a loss, I guess. Literally went through almost 30 cards in our deck to find 1 Mirror March. So that's the probability on it is just so slim, so slim.